Get out the charcuterie boards and rosé. It's time to watch the hottest new reality show. Whether you're deeply invested or hate watching, you know you can't keep your eyes off of the Crush House, the latest game published by Devolver Digital. But is the Crush House the thirst-person shooter of our dreams, or should you ghost it like a vapid summer fling? Well, the answer might not be so simple. Before I tell you why, please take a moment to like and subscribe so you don't miss a single video. Check us out at patreon.com/idreamofindiegames for awesome indie gaming perks and exclusive content, and hang out on our weekly live streams with Gamer Ghoulfriend, Tuesdays and Thursdays right here, and at twitch.tv/idreamofindiegames. While I might not be the most rabid reality TV fan, I can't deny the widespread and long-standing appeal of watching humans when they're put under some sort of microscope and given copious amounts of alcohol and a vague celebrity status. You just wind them up and let them go. The concept practically sells itself. The Crush House is more or less one of those shows, sort of. It's the golden age of reality TV. The year is 1999, and you've been hired to be the newest producer on the show, Jay. Controlling Jay from the first-person perspective, you're immediately told that things didn't work out with the last producer, and you're given the two rules of the Crush House. First, we don't talk about the Crush House. Kidding. Never speak with the cast. And the second rule is the audience is always right. Once you're read the riot act, you grab your badge and select a cast of 4 housemates based on some vague and rather arbitrary character traits that you think might make good television, and it's off to the races, baby. From there, you grab your camcorder, head up to set, and it's time to start filming. You'll have different demographics of audiences to appease each day. Sometimes you'll need to pander to the teenagers, other times it will be the landscaping enthusiasts, art aficionados, film buffs, wine moms, you name it. In order to meet their demands and thus live up to the second rule of Crush House, you'll need to read their comments on the live show to see what they want to see more or less of. Focusing on something that the audience likes fills up that demographics meter at the top of your screen. Sometimes you're able to meet multiple demands with a single shot, which will bump your meters even more. If you ignore a certain group's demands for too long, they'll leave and be replaced with a new audience. Gameplay is ultimately broken up into seasons, which are subsequently broken up further into filming days, with a day beginning when you pick up the camcorder and ending when the ratings come in and the cast retires to their quarters for the evening to do God knows what. They kind of just dematerialize after entering the door, from what I can tell at least. There are 3 modes of gameplay, 2 immediately available upon booting up the game, casual and normal. The third mode is hardcore, which you'll need to unlock. The primary difference between casual and normal is that in normal mode, if you do not meet the required number of audience demands on a particular filming day, the show gets canceled and you'll have to begin a new season. You can't get canceled on the casual setting, so it's a great option if you're more invested in the story than the gameplay. If you turn the camera off during filming days, ads will run, which will earn you funds that you can use to purchase items for the set to spice things up, like a barbell or some tastefully subtle lawn decor. Successfully making it through a season means that you and all 4 cast members will get to take a turn at going down the infamous success slide before the next season begins, and the next one, and the next one, on and on and on, so that the network can continue to please the audience and make money. It's difficult to discuss the underlying plot of the Crush House without approaching spoiler territory, so I will only say this. The real story, the things that aren't immediately obvious on the surface, the questions you'll begin asking yourself about the cast and the set and the rules, that and that alone is the only reason I continued playing this game. Outside of that intrigue, the game is a bit of a mess. First of all, I didn't find the core gameplay particularly fun. I wasn't enjoying standing in one spot, staring into space because my ass enthusiast meter and my libertarian meter were on fire. Yeah, that's a real thing. While there were other things going on that I could be checking out, I didn't enjoy the shallow and seemingly random conversations and arguments the various cast members were having, and I wasn't inspired to run ads by the items available for purchase after shooting ended. It all felt like a waste of time, and a lot of times, entirely random in nature. When you understand there is something deeper going on here, it gives you a reason to press forth, but that will to carry on only lasts for so long. You have to factor in that the game itself is less stable than a cast member. With frequent crashes and breakdowns, you start to question why you're putting yourself through this. I tested the game on 2 different computers and a Steam Deck, and oddly found the most stability on the deck despite low frame rates. My 4070 graphics card was met with constant and relentless crashes, particularly when my gauges were on fire or my characters were having a makeout sesh for some reason. I guess both things were overheating the computer as well as the screen. Yeesh. The game ran okay on my 2070, but frequent stutters and incredibly long load screens had me clenching my cheeks for dear life. Honestly, at a point, I just began referring to the game as the Crash House. And if that's not enough, I somehow managed to break the game several times with just simple exploration. I've played a lot of games in my day that encourage the players to explore, to not always take the path you've been given, to think outside the box a little bit in the hopes of discovering secrets, but on multiple occasions, walking off the beaten path led me to being completely stuck and having to quit to the title screen and repeat a day of filming to rectify it. I sincerely hope the game can be stabilized through patches so future players don't have to endure these growing pains, but I can only comment on the build I've experienced so far, and it's difficult to enjoy even the most thrilling story when you're constantly worried about losing progress. For this reason, I did end up dropping the difficulty down to casual to save myself a few headaches. The graphics are pretty simplistic, another reason why the instability was so puzzling. There are only 12 cast members to choose from in total, and the house itself is basically a conversation pit, kitchen/dining area, bathroom, pool, and yard. It vaguely resembles a Barbie dream house, but with a bit less pink and a lot more crush juice. Character interactions are odd and unnatural, coming across similarly to your Sims from the year 2000 trying to bang, which I guess, given the context of the game's timeline, makes sense. During filming, there is music playing, but when you're not on set, there is an eerie silence about the game, which extends to the title screen and options menu as well. The more I stewed on the game, the more I do believe this is intentional, but it sure does take some getting used to, especially as the type of person that loves to have music playing at all times. Characters don't really speak, instead projecting some sort of Simlish meets Animal Crossing speak and gesturing violently to communicate. Again, not my favorite choice, but a choice nonetheless. When it comes down to it, the Crush House in its current state is not a title I would recommend. If the concept of a sinister plot brewing just under the surface of a shallow reality show intrigues you, as it did me, my sincere recommendation would be to wait for patches and perhaps a sale. There is an interesting story here, and some of the humor and style hits, but it's all being overshadowed by a lot of tedious tasks and an unstable game. For now, my thirst has not been quenched, and I'll continue my channel surfing right on past the Crush House.
Oh no!